Hello there. Today I'm going to talk about loneliness. Loneliness can affect many individuals from all walks of life, including those who identify as pagan. Another thing is limited community support. Pagan communities can be small or scattered, so it's challenging to find like-minded people, peers for social connections and support. And lack of community results in the feelings of loneliness, or can result in the feelings of loneliness. Another reason would be secrecy or privacy concerns. Some pagans choose to keep their beliefs private due to concerns about their employment. Pagans have been fired before for people that are scared of them, although that is not the excuse they give when they fire them. And due to certain concerns of judgment, discrimination, and the secrecy can also lead to a sense of isolation and loneliness. And they're not comfortable being their authentic selves. I remember as a child saying things and people would look at me weird. So I learned to keep that private unless someone asks, and then I'm willing to share. So we're not really that scary. Another reason to develop loneliness for pagans is the lack of understanding, as I was just saying, in personal relationships. To find a pagan mate is very, very hard. Pagans may struggle to find acceptance and understanding with their personal relationships even, such as family or friends or a spouse that do not share their beliefs. And this lack of support obviously contributes to feeling of loneliness and isolation. And then there's some pagans that don't really have a tradition to follow or a mentor or any goals. They don't really know what to do on the path, and this can lead to loneliness. So they end up just doing seasonal or solitary practices. So if you only practice the seasonal holidays, depending on your tradition, some traditions have 8, some traditions have 4, some traditions have even more. Depends on what you're following as a pagan person. If you don't know groups that do it, or you do and you only meet up that so many times a year, that can also lead to loneliness because there's not regular interaction and there's no purpose for you other than to celebrate. So this is why, if your tradition is Wiccan, covens are so important for Wiccan people. Traditional Wiccans are not solitary. This only came about when it became eclectic and it became self-dedication. Some people say initiated, but this is a false thing. I don't think they understand the meaning of initiation. So engaging in holidays and celebrations alone, it just is on your calendar, and none of your friends know that it's a special holiday for you. So it even passes by. I know that I have a new spouse, and he is just learning my celebrations. So I can put it on the calendar, but if he doesn't look at the calendar, he wouldn't know anything was coming up. So this leads to kind of sadness, because I get invited to everybody else's celebrations that I don't celebrate, but nobody reciprocates. See what I mean? leads to isolation and loneliness and feeling different. Some people are even lonely and they don't even realize it. And this is not necessarily pagan either. How can that be? Well, there's busy professionals, and they're constantly busy at work or doing stuff for work, even if they're at home, or they're busy working on the car or working around the house, or these are the type of people that maybe when you finally get them to sit down, watch a movie, they just fall asleep because they've got busy mind, and they've been orientated that way since a kid, taught maybe that if you're not busy, you're lazy, right? But they're always occupied, and even scrolling. They have to be doing something. As soon as they're not doing something, that's it. And then so I think all of these things that they do are covering up feelings or loneliness that is quite painful, and nobody wants to deal with that. Social media users, people who spend a lot of time on social media, they do make online connections, but these, they don't even realize they're lonely. Because talking to people on social media, like me right now, I'm talking to a camera. I'm not truly connecting one-on-one. And I'm hoping I'm getting to you there, that the importance of phone calls, the importance of face-to-face connection. A video, however, is better than texting. It's an illusion, I guess. Social media is an illusion of connecting, but not at a deeper level. And that's what we're missing, is that deeper level. People retiring, getting laid off, losing their job. This can lead to isolation and feelings of loneliness too. So that the familiar social connections we had at work are gone. And we now, again, this is the professional thing, we were busy, and now we're not busy. So we really have to put something together and plan for that retirement, or we end up doing the same old things. New parents can be lonely. It's a joyful experience, but all the focus becomes on that child and not each other and not your friends. And so you're not going out as much. Very careful to keep a date night. Very careful to connect with friends. Individuals in new cities. Now, I can say this for good. When you move to a new city, which I have done several times, I've had to start over. And for me, with autism, it's pretty hard to connect to new friends. I put on a mask and I force myself to do stuff. But it's draining. It's brand new people again. It's hard. It's really hard. And to go a long time, with people, you don't really know them that well. You get together once in a while. And it's not a deep connection. And then finally, when you get a deep connection, you could possibly have to move again. This leads to loneliness and isolation. Another thing that it's common for people to believe is that people with big families or lots of relatives are not lonely. But people have to remember that loneliness has nothing to do with being alone. Even if someone goes out occasionally and has lots of friends, that person can still be experiencing loneliness because it's a disconnect. It's a shallow, superficial connection. Going to a bar and just saying hi to people that you happen to know, superficial. You know, you don't say much. You don't have a deep conversation. You're watching a band. Some of you are getting drunk. Some of you are getting stoned. Not a deep connection. Lack of emotional support is another reason why people experience loneliness. Yeah, socializing with friends can be a joyful thing and fun thing, but it doesn't always fulfill the connection. Right there, you have to know the difference between a real friend and not. So if you're in emotional distraught or despair, you usually get people trying to cheer you up. That doesn't work. That's not letting you be yourself. That's somebody else uncomfortable because they're sitting with someone who has an uncomfortable emotion. So that's not emotional support. When you can sit by someone who is having an awful emotion and just sit and listen, that's support. Be uncomfortable. Feeling misunderstood by your so-called friends, that leads to isolation. Misalignment of values, when your values, beliefs, or interests don't align with other people's, especially being a pagan. Other people don't understand. Maybe in your religion you've experienced that too. And so you get isolated and disconnected despite social connections. Internal struggles. Loneliness, it's influenced by internal struggles such as low self-esteem or self-doubt or unresolved emotional issues. And some of us, a lot of us, have a lot of that. And we either overeat, we do drugs, there's all sorts of things that we do or keep ourselves busy and not really deal with the pain, right? So because I've struggled with loneliness all my life, this is why I'm helping people now. So if you understand that loneliness is a complex experience, it encompasses so many different things. It's not just being alone. It's an emotional experience that goes beyond simple going out with friends once in a while. It's crucial to understand this, and it's really necessary to learn to set goals, to build strong, real relationships, and learn how to focus and connect to people emotionally. Now, if you're autistic, like my son and myself, it's really hard to do that. And I used to look at people like I was in a fishbowl, and they were saying things, but some of the stuff they're saying I don't really understand. They're jokes. Some of it is making fun of others. We take things literally, so it's not cool. And we say things that other people don't like because we're totally blunt, and neurotypical people don't like that. But we say it out of concern and because we love you. I would really be upset if I knew that I hurt someone. And people misunderstand my texts all the time. I'm not good at texting, but I know that I have been lonely since a child. And this is why I'm uniquely qualified to help you today. But in the meantime, just learn what loneliness is and connect to people. Have a great day. Love you. Remember that you're important. Your voice is important. You are here to do something in this world that nobody else in the world is to do. And that's your purpose. And you're also here. You have a voice. You have a voice that might be saying the same thing as a lot of other people out there. But it doesn't matter, because somebody needs to hear your voice. Somebody relates to you and not me. And so remember that you are important and you're loved. By me, by your God, by my gods, by the universe, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't matter. I want you to have a great day. And if you got out of bed today, good for you. If you combed your hair today, that's friggin' awesome, right? Don't go down on yourself. Pat yourself on the back and get ahead.